Well, if it isn't the man myself, how am I?
Hello.
Where have I been?
I've been right here
Yeah.
with me the whole time doing stuff.
Yeah.
I just haven't been talking about it as much. What have I been up to?
Well, I bet it's time for us both to talk about it
Yeah.
on a new episode of Two Guys, Same Person. Okay, so you're doing Two Guys, Same Person. You're doing it pretty consistently. You're having some fun ideas. What happens? I immediately start feeling like I'm talking about a bunch of bullshit that everybody else is talking about.
Yeah.
And I had kind of started this little podcast as a way to learn, to learn how to use a microphone, how to do all this stuff all on my own. I didn't want to pay a bunch of people to do some ideas if there's not going to be any sort of revenue coming from it. Yeah. Not that any of this is for a revenue. I'm just saying I'm not going to go spend a bunch of money just to chuck it in. You know, you do that at a casino, right? You take $100 and you just throw it in the air and you go, okay, that was fun. You don't do that. Well, I don't do that with 10 grand at a studio. I wouldn't do that either, turns out. So what did I end up doing? Okay, so literally the end of the podcast, season 3, I think it was. Yep. I immediately said, okay, I'm gonna lean into the music. I'm going to create a little festival that I called Yardapalooza. I am going to tell my friends and family that there is a set date, and I'm going to perform at it. It was a way for me to force myself do or die, finish ideas. I've been writing music. I've discussed this in the past. I've been writing all the music for all the other seasons and everything usually you hear, be it on the channel or on my streams. It's usually all me, small exceptions with, featuring artists or,
solos.
So I put that together. My friends and family came, and it ended up being the very first album I ever created. I did it all by myself. In pure Grohl fashion. I did it in my basement, track for track. It doesn't sound as good as, say, the first Foo Fighters album, but audio quality, and I stand by the songs. There's one, These Are My Friends, ended up being a really big friends staple with my friends, funny enough. But so I did that. People came. So what happens after this? It's like a little backyard thing. Yeah, it was just me. I'd rented some speakers and I recorded all the music, and I removed like the main guitar or the lead guitar, rhythm guitar, my guitar part and my singing part. And I did that part live with my backing track, which was just me. It was all recorded by me, so it was kind of like a band. In and of myself, I don't know. I started calling myself Ryan the musician, because my name Ryan, Ingham. And
do you remember
we were watching Gus Johnson on Twitch? And I think we'd had a little bit too much to drink, and we had a decent paycheck. And we were like throwing money at him. And he got the name. He was like, I get it. Like, I, Ryan, am a musician. Oh, that was such a fun night. Anyway, so I did the Yardapalooza thing. And then I finally had full songs. So I was practicing, and my vocals were not great. You can go back and listen to it. Everything that you can hear now on streams is all me. Recorded, edited, and I know that it doesn't sound, studio amazing quality, but I'm, whatever. So I finished these things, and I did it, and I'm practicing, and I'm emailing places to play like a fool, emailing anybody, venues, theaters bars that are way too big for me, no idea how to get in, nobody's really talking, and then suddenly our local sports bar up here, Brothers, does... they have like a new sign out front, and it says bands looking to play, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? So I call them. This is the place that it was the first bar when I moved up to Chicago to go to school here. It was the first bar I'd ever gone to. This bar. So I'll interject really quick. Moved up here, post-military, went to school, and then this bar I went to on my own, and I have met so many cool people at this place. It's a sports bar. It had really cool Christmas lights. It did DJ nights on Fridays. Great food with this little connected place. I think it was called Mutter. burgers, and
Yes.
there's
all
a
one
lot of
thing
connections.
now.
It's right
Yeah,
on
yeah,
Addison
yeah.
and Pulaski in
Burgers are
Chicago if
so
you're
good.
local.
Not an ad.
But
Love this place.
Okay, so yeah, we love this place. We've been going there for years.
Yeah.
Continue. So they have this new sign out. Here's this thing. Call the owner. I call the owner. I'm like, hey man, what is happening? And he goes, oh yeah, you'll want to reach out to so and so.
Right.
I haven't cleared any names, so I'm not gonna throw them in
Yeah,
yet.
smart,
But
smart.
you need to reach out to so and so. They're having an event. Actually, they're gonna be over at this studio.
Yeah.
Go for a meet and greet, and go sign your band up.
Right.
So I
like a
walk.
practice.
I don't have enough money to Uber to this place at this point. I have to walk there, you know. So I do. I walk. I must have. I'm not trying to sound like a martyr. It's maybe like a mile and a half. But so I walk to this studio one way though. So I walk one way to the studio. And I shake her hand and I say, hi, I'm Ryan, and this is what I'm doing. Sign up my band. There's a person next to her, and he's doing like
guitar repairs.
he's got like a guitar repair studio, and I'm like, oh my god, that's a good idea. I've never taken care of my guitars.
Cool.
I'm gonna start doing stuff like this. So you meet these people, they sign you up. What happens? No, so I sign the paper. Here's my email. I'm walking all the way home. Oh god, I have terrible handwriting. I hope she can read it. I think I got a card with an email, and then I follow up, and I'm like, oh man, I don't know.
Right.
I've already got a couple of bands coming up
they
ready
had
to
the
go.
sign said there's
And
a band ready.
And I get a response, and I get, hey, okay, here's what's up. 21 and over. We're doing this date. Get 3 bands together and let me know who you got. And at this point, I didn't really know anybody. I was doing this on my own. I knew my college friends, and there was one band that I was really into. They were called Black Rock. They are called Black Rock.
Did they come and play for the
But
thing?
they were, that was not a band yet that you go, hey guys, I need a favor. It was just me doing this by myself.
Okay.
And they were already playing a bunch of shows. They were getting ready to go on a tour. They had a music video.
Right.
They were a local kick-ass band. I knew them all really well, but, I know them all really well now, but I knew them all. Anyway.
Yeah.
So luckily, I had recently gone to a house show where I had gotten to know these bands, and I started asking around, trying to find people, and who do you know that likes to play, and who have you heard, and what, and you start to meet these people, and somebody goes, yeah, I've got this little band, and we're trying this out, and you go, okay, and you email I email, and I say, here's the people, here's our show, what do you think?
Right.
And they go, okay, see you then. And that's it. Show locked. First show locked. Chicago show locked in.
All right.
So you get it. Yeah. And what happens next? I feel like I'm just moving the oar next to the boat here. Okay. So I have to do it on my own. In my head, I think, who's doing music like this by themselves?
Right.
I can think of somebody like Skrillex, who's got the EDM thing. It's a bunch of whole soundscape, but it's by themselves.
Right.
And in college, I studied composition, so I understand, the little one dot making all the voices work together. So I'm like, what if there's like a Skrillex of rock and roll? Do it on your own.
Yeah.
As you do things, you'll get better. So the songs will get better, whatever. So I run with that idea. I was also in the pit in marching band. So the concept of jumping in between instruments isn't, incredibly foreign. So I practice guitar and singing, and I get everything ready. I start messaging the bands and coordinating things. I've done logistics, just in a professional setting. So I knew how to keep tabs on people.
Yes.
Email who needs this, who needs what, who's ready, who's where, who's when. Put a flyer together. I know how to use the internet, so I put a flyer together. Or no, actually, for this first one,
they did.
One of the bands put a flyer together. That's right, for the first Brothers show. It was really cool. It was really they were a band called Wine Dark Sea, and they had like this really cool wine type painting. It was really cool.
Like ripples.
So
it was cool.
So we get the show together, and we get people to come. One of the guys from from the house show had come to play. His name was Ricky Liontones, and he, to me, still is one of the coolest guys on the scene. He's awesome.
Cool rock guy.
So he's there, and he's like, I play my music, and he, tells me, man, somebody's got to get this guy a band. It really made me feel good.
I remember that.
The guy whose music I'd really enjoyed and I was really into. And he could see what I was trying. He'd also told me I ran over my time, but he was super cool about it. He was like, hey, man, you ran over your time. We got to do some music. And I was like, oh, God, you got to make every mistake once. So I keep saying that. You got to make every mistake once. Yes. So I can run with this if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so the show goes off well. Your friends like it.
Yes.
You don't get accosted or assaulted or have anything thrown at you. Right. And the real boost of confidence was the booker was like, "Yeah, we want you back." Yeah. And I was like, "Okay, there's something to this. It can only get better from here." Mm-hmm. People could feel the energy in the room. It was a good time. We had a good time. Yes. So booked more shows. Started doing more, did a second Yardapalooza the following year. You want to tell a little bit more about that? Yeah, so the second Yardapalooza, I knew more bands. Mm-hmm. I had a bigger idea. I was reaching out to more people. Yeah. And I had reached out to this band, Boxcar Graffiti.
Yes.
They are awesome. As at the time of this recording, they're with, I think, Tater Vision Records.
Yeah.
One of the members of the band, 10 Years. Has his own recording studio. They're on there.
It's really nice.
And their lead singer went to college with me. We're friends. And
Boxcar.
So I'm like, hey, I'm putting the show together. I want to do more bands. I want it to be bigger this year. And they're like, hey, actually, we have basically an entire production worth of equipment with speakers and lights. Do you want us to bring that too? And I'm like, yes. Huge. So they trucked down an entire setup.
They were so cool.
They're an awesome band already.
The whole team.
I reached out to Ricky. I'm like, hey, here's what's happening. More shows. It's a big festival. He's like, yeah, I'm in. That sounds dope. And then back to the band Black Rock.
Yes.
So the Black Rock guys were in the middle of 2 legs of a European tour. When they came back during the summer, they played one other show and then mine.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be just mine, and then they go back on tour, but then they picked up another one, which I was super cool with because I love them.
Of course.
So it was Boxcar Graffiti, Ricky Lion Tones,
and
Black Rock. And then me, and I was like, that's a lot of rock and roll, and I really want this thing to be more than just I like rock music. Where I want it to be an actual festival and a palooza type thing. So I started reaching out to more people, and that's when I reached out to another college friend of mine. Her name was Leanne Stutler. Mm-hmm. Check her out, Leanne Stutler Music. Incredible guitar player, incredible singer.
Real busy too.
Way more into the country bluegrass style. But like when we met in college, we had a hard bond over the whole spectrum between I'd say like a Shania Twain to like a Metallica. And you've got Jagged Little Pill directly in the middle. Excellent person, excellent musician. She ends up opening the whole show. A couple people who were going to be on the bill ended up not being able to make it, but it was a big thing. You learned a lot of lessons there, but that show was a major hit. Got a ton of good pictures. Emily Madigan photography, shout out. Took pictures of that, and it looked so good. So I started running with this thing, and now I've got my own music, and I've got this production thing. So I want to mention that I was there for it because I was doing this. I remember my music for the latest Yardapalooza was some of the best music I had ever written, and it was one of the hardest things I'd ever done performance-wise. It was brutal. I learned not to host, cheer, drink, be busy, set up, and then headline my own show. Nobody... I hope that it didn't come off as it was like a big look at me party.
I don't.
The headline was like, hey, and then here's my music, and then we're done, and then we ended up, the first Yardapalooza, we ended up doing a karaoke type thing.
Which was
so.
Fun.
Yeah, so I was exhausted. I was hoarse. I was forgetting words, but it was, it was still fun. It was still great music. Everybody had a great time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So okay, you take it.
No excuses,
right? You still did it, and it's like every stand-up comedian on any podcast will say, "When did you bomb? Blah 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 blah. What happened?" And you're talking. These people that are talking are people that are where you want to be, right?
Like a success.
So
thing, right?
I bombed, but you go on, So you had a show. You still had a show. You still put this thing on together, and the whole party was such a hit. It didn't matter. So I decided that I wanted this festival thing to be a bigger thing. We're gonna have a whole episode on that. On what it's changing into and what it's gonna be next year. So that'll be our next episode, but. what I decided to do with that was downscale into the yard and do DIY shows for local bands, because I started to get to know these people, play at more shows, play here and play there, and go to these shows and just shake more hands and
meet all the people.
Whenever these people want to play, I host a show called Local Heroes. We'll do an episode on that. I don't know.
The showcase.
So these local bands come and play, and we've got themed nights and whatever, and then I play my music at gigs. I got a big show. Actually, that band, Black Rock.
What do I have a thing going on.
I've got a show January 11th at Reggie's Music Joint, reggieslive.com. Tickets are available now. You can. So some members of that band are actually going to be my backing band. It's the first time I've got a full backing band. I've got some music that you're going to know if you listen to anything that I've done. Some brand new stuff, and it sounds better than ever. All the stuff that's recorded, I've done myself, and having actual musicians, tried and true musicians, playing some of the stuff that I've written live sounds way better than I could even have imagined it. And I don't know if I want to do the Skrillex solo thing anymore. I don't mind writing all the parts, but man, it is so fun. It sounds so good.
Playing with it.
It's gonna be huge. Lever, Silvertone, Johnny Kilroy, and then me. January 11th at Reggie's Live. I'm going to be at I'm going to be at Brudders December 21st.
Nice. Christmas.
I have a Christmas show. I'm going to be doing some classic crooner covers and parodies. Trust me, it's going to be a really fun time. And then December 16th, I'm hoping to be running a local Heroes video game night where people are doing covers and original music and playing video games and having a good time.
Sounds awesome.
Okay, so that was the big update. Look forward to the next episode when we'll be talking about the festival coming up 2024. Have a wonderful, however long this goes until the next episode. Holidays, Christmas, Merry New Year, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa. Goodbye.
Bye.
Nice to see you.